are three kings of the ocean. The big blue whale, a king by sheer size. The shark, a king by power. Who could the third one be? I stand here to introduce the most underrated king of the ocean. The lobster? Funny, isn't it? Often considered as the luxury item on the menu of most upscale Goan restaurants, a king? Well, besides being a delicacy, there is something about the lobster that we need to know. Number one, it has a very powerful exoskeleton, a shell, an armor that protects it from all the predators around. It has the powerful claws and the jaws to cut through anything. It has the remarkable ability to actually regrow limbs if they lose it, thus allowing it to travel across hostile terrains across the ocean floor. Aren't these qualities for a king? But that's not the full story. There is a twist. That little lobster, as it grows from a baby to an adult, the body grows, but its shell doesn't. So there comes a critical moment when it needs to take a call. It needs to shed that shell and make itself vulnerable to the entire ocean and all the predators there, or else it would be constrained and squeezed to death. So what does it do? It sheds its shell, makes it vulnerable, but through that vulnerability, it undergoes transformation. Transformation, getting a new shell that is bigger, better, and stronger. Isn't this a beautiful metaphor for us to kind of relate to our lives? How often are we in this shell of our parental protection? The shell of our outdated thoughts, beliefs, our comfort zones? But if we can, like that lobster, shed that shell, making us vulnerable, I'll tell you, transformation happens and you will see yourself growing into someone bigger, better, and successful. Greetings, guests, students, teachers, and dignitaries. I would like to talk about another story, and personally, I would like to share this because I relate to this story. The story is not of a king, not of a genius. It's about a tiny thing called a seed. A seed was thrown into the garden, away from the sun, away from the wind. Weeks passed by, nothing happened, and the seed started questioning itself. I am so lonely. I do not have friends. I am kind of useless. Weeks again, and it sees or notices that every other seed in the garden was now sprouting, bearing flowers, growing into beautiful plants, but this seed lay low. Again it cribbed, complaining, why couldn't I be like them? Why are they better than me? Then it develops a crack. Gosh, it said, first of all, I'm lonely. Everyone is getting better than me, and now I'm broken. Little did he know that that crack was the beginning of the sprout, which resulted in a plant, in a tree which bore beautiful fruits, bigger and better than every other plant in that garden. How many of us can relate to that seed? Feeling lonely? Not having enough of friends? How many of us actually think the way the seed felt? Oh, that person is better in sports. I am useless. How many of you all have been shown or proven to be way below what you are by that classroom bully? Feeling useless. I stand here to tell you, my dear friends, believe in yourself and stand firm. That crack could be the beginning of a late growth process. And the reason I'm telling you this story, because at one point of time, I was that seed. Lonely and a little cracked and broken myself. And I stand here to share a story that not many people know about me. As a little child, I was a quintessential introvert to the hardcore. It meant not once have I stepped out of home. I stayed in a gated community with hundreds of children. Not once in my life I have stepped out. My only buddy and friend was my friend immediately next door neighbor, Priya, who I would call Chinu. My friend, my mate, my master in crime or partner in crime. To add to this lonely and difficult phase was my battle with severe asthma. As a child, I had a major issue with asthma, which was exertional, which meant you ask me to run from here to there, I would be gasping to catch my breath. It meant no sports, no scouts and guides outings, no playing with the kids. I would get breathless, and then I would have to take that one tablet of Astaline, wait for 30 to 45 minutes, struggling to catch my breath. It felt like it's better to be in that shell. So very often, the wheezing would get so bad that my dad and mom had to literally carry me through the night, and I have landed in hospital so often, landing up with oxygen. I remember an incident. I was admitted at the Salgaonkar hospital and I was on oxygen, and I could see my dad, who was a doctor, weeping by the door. And that made me wonder, am I going to make through this? It felt like that seed. It felt horrible. Time passed by and I went on to reach high secondary. There I was at Dempe College, which was just across Sharda Mandir round the corner. One Sunday after Mass, I happened to meet a priest by the name of Father Conceição. He asked me, "Hey son, what's your name? What do you do?" At that age, I was literally this way. I looked up with hesitancy. "My name is Lloyd and I'm in the 11th standard." "Great," he said. "We have an organization for youngsters called the Kalangut Parish Youth. Why don't you come and join in?" "No way," was my response. "I have never really spoken to Chinu and no one else. I am not going to step out of this shell." But with the insistence of my mom, I happened to go for a meeting. And then another, and then a third. Well, students, you'll have chemistry as a subject. Do you know what a catalyst is? Yeah? Something which accelerates a reaction. Father Conceição and my mom were the first amazing catalysts in my life. Through numerous conversations, some gentle nudges, and some forceful pushes, I found myself interacting with friends. A year later, I was already holding the post of the treasurer of the Kalangut Parish Youth. And 2 years later, my dear friends, I was the president of the organization. Now, this felt great. I had friends, and I was the president. It taught me leadership. It taught me a very important lesson on the importance of community, which I never dared to believe in. Things were working for me now. My asthma was getting better thanks to a very important tool that came into my hand, my inhaler. It meant I didn't have to wait for 45 minutes gasping. One puff, voila, I could breathe. One puff before sports meant I could take part in activities. This kid could run. This kid could play. I was now a part of my medical college football team. I was running, I was cycling, and I was the king of my world. When you get chest pain, what do? You go and get a ECG from your doctor. Have you heard of an ECG? An ECG is a recording of the heart which has waves, the ups and downs, but we call it the rhythm of a perfect heartbeat. If it was straight, is a straight ECG line good? It would mean you're dead. Just like the low, I had the peak, only to crash again. On vacation in Bahrain, skating on an ice rink, having the ball of a time, really enjoying myself. Crash. A massive fall with the most excruciating pain from my back to my toes and heels. I was rushed to the American Mission Hospital there. Jab and treatment, nothing happened. The pain did not go. I came back to Goa and flew to Pune. I knew a friend who got me a consultation with a spine surgeon in Pune. So there I was standing in front of the spine specialist, and he gives me the news: Lloyd, you have a prolapsed spinal disc. You need to give up running, cycling for now, as that would result in serious consequences. Friends, try telling this to a young lad who had just found wings, who had just started to fly, and you tell him the show is over. I felt like going into that shell of restriction. Be careful, don't hurt your back. But that's when the second catalyst came to my life in the form of my wife, Nadia. She said, Lloyd, let's do one thing. Let's get your back strengthened up. At the same time, let's do something fun that we can spend time together. And that's how we landed up at Dance Illusions, a ballroom dance class. Was it fun? No, it wasn't. Was it painful? Extremely. But weeks and weeks and months of dancing and a lot of core workout worked, and I was actually beginning to feel better. And I felt, whoa, I've done it. That's when Dr. Martin from Dance Illusions came up and said, hold on, we are not done. There is a regional dance championship happening at the NCPA in Mumbai. I need you to go. So lots of practice, lots of encouragement from all my fellow dancers, and lots of painkillers got me to the NCPA. And I'm not kidding it, lots of painkillers got me to the NCPA. Cue music, we danced. And guess what? It was our first gold medal. It felt, I've done it all again. Ready to throw in the towel? Dr. Martin, not yet. In 7 months, we have the National Ballroom Dance Championships. Let's go for it. Weeks and months of training, lots of encouragement, and lesser painkillers by now. We were at Raipur for the championships. Again, cue music. And we were there dancing for 2 minutes. Done, the results were out, and we won the gold medal at the National Ballroom Dance Championships, making us the national champions. Well, friends, it felt again, I have won the race of life. This is the time we pause and we ask you a few questions. Many of us have finished your 10th standard, some of them your 12th. Are you really done? You teachers, you've got a good job out here. Are you really done? Or is there something more? Is there somewhere we can press the turbo button and get that push to go ahead? That's when I challenged myself for one more time. I said, okay, as a kid I couldn't run. Now I'm going to register for a full 42 kilometers marathon. So, weeks and months of training, lots of running, lots of 10 kilometers. I landed in Ponda for the Ramani run for a 21k. Came to Vasco to the Goa River Marathon for a 32.2k. And finally flew to Mumbai for the Tata Marathon, where I registered for the full 42.2. Start! Took off. Oh, this race runs over hours. And at the end, as I was reaching towards the end, I thought I was hallucinating because I could hear my voice of my wife saying, come on, you can do it. I'm like, what's happening here? I can hear voices now. And that's when I realized Nadia was standing to run the last 100 meters of that race with me to complete my full marathon. Another story done. What next? My friends ask me. Ironman? Ladakh? But I would like to take a pause here. Change the entire focus from my story to you, to each and every one of you. What next? What's next in you or for you? Are you really done? You all are standing on a brink of limitless possibilities. But you know what? Your comfort zone can feel very comfortable, but that is not where dreams are made. In fact, that is exactly where dreams fade. So, maximum or almost every success story begins with a leap of faith, a leap into the unknown. And when you take that leap, you make yourself vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, you undergo transformation, becoming someone bigger, better, and stronger, like the lobster we mentioned right in the beginning of the story. As Alan Johnson once said, if your dreams don't scare you, they are not big enough. They're simply not big enough. So dream big, back yourself, practice and work hard, and of course, have patience. Some dreams take time. And if you achieve everything at 20, what are you going to do for the rest of your life anyway, right? So back yourself, go for it. Remember, you have a better, more successful version of you waiting at that finish line. The question is, are you ready to take that leap of faith? Thank you.